Hey, what's going on, everybody?
The views, opinions, and representations expressed are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The show is found on the
Manwich,
the regular
original.
can, but do not necessarily promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice.
Especially if you wear
These
this
shows
hat.
are for entertainment purposes only.
Ta-da!
And they're not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. Good evening, or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for my Manwich on Podcast Talk Radio After Dark. And now,
It's rich.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! All right, everybody. Well, we have GREYS. We're going to dissect, without getting into an alien autopsy, what are GREYS? Where are they from? And what's this really all about? Briefly, that is, briefly. Because I have my own opinions. I have my own take on what aliens really are. Demons. But with that said, let's get into it. Ta-da!
Did you know that the GREYS, who are the popularly known avatar for aliens or extraterrestrials, are a group of cloned slaves created by the Checker Empire in their genetic breeding programs? those commonly referred to as GREYS, owing to their grey and sometimes brown appearance skin color and slender,
That's
elongated
racist.
head features, typically belong to the reptoid category, although there are also smaller populations of insectoid DNA, saurian amphibian, or vegetal varieties.
Who writes this
They
stuff?
can be categorized by small or tall heights. These beings exhibit reptilian, vertically slit eyes, often concealed behind biometrical dark lenses. A significant portion of GREYS are products of genetic engineering, biosynthetic entities, clones, cybernetically enhanced or integrated into human environments on conquered planets. Many of the GREY clones are usually emotionless. Their motives vary widely, with not all being involved in abductions or experimentation, and not all displaying malevolent tendencies like those from the Orion Alliance, exemplified by the Solipsi Rai, a peaceful and benevolent species coerced and enslaved by the Orion and Chakra empires. Unfortunately, the GREYS as a whole have garnered a negative reputation, primarily due to their association with reptoids and their penchant for conquest, terrorizing and enslaving various GREY factions. Their technology varies from system to system, but they are interdimensional travelers at the level of Tier 4. Among the myriad races classified as GREYS, only 27 are known to visit Earth, with 22 actively engaged for diverse reasons. The story of the GREYS goes back to the ancient Orion-Lyran Wars, spanning multiple galaxies millions of years ago. Draconian reptilians engineered various non-plasmic life forms, including GREY clones where they were initially enslaved by them. Eventually, these clones rebelled against the Draconian reptilians, their creators, sparking conflicts across Orion and Pleiades, leading to significant losses and dispersal among the GREY clone army. Seeking to preserve their genetic lineage, GREYS journey to Earth, abducting humans to create hybrids, as seen in the Essassani group. Youthful GREYS with human-like hair living on a nearby peaceful island planet in the 5th dimension. On their planet, their frequency vibrates at the 5th level. They have a society that has no war, nor death, nor crime, or poverty. They have one group of appointed councils who represent the people. Their planet has a nice temperate changes similar to Earth, however. The oxygen levels are much higher. They believe in growing higher into dimensions and evolving to heal mother consciousness. There are a few who monitor and watch Earth, even communicating to spiritual mediums through frequency vibrations. These beings have human mothers or fathers on Earth and GREY DNA of the GREY clone species. Further distinctions among GREYs include the Ainana species, who are known for collaborating with the US government. Next, the peaceful and smiling Ark, and the enslaved Ohu, genetically altered by Orion and Chakra agendas. The Emertha arrived in 1954 on behalf of the Council of the Five for peaceful purposes, cautioning against the GREYs and Chikar. The Shamtnali from Zeti Reticuli maintain secret underground bases on Earth in cooperation with the US military. Various factions, such as the Solipsi Rai, have made alliances with empires for technology exchange, often involving humans. They are cloned slave workers, heavily involved in abductions, and synthetic life forms. The Ebon race from Orion collaborates with the Cabal and human military. Essassani hybrids live peacefully on a nearby island planet, while Elmanok from Alnea await Earthlings' awakening. These beings are known to visit Earth interdimensionally and plant high vibrational coding into individuals. Once this coding is implanted inside the skull of the individual, it rearranges the cells and brain for expansion of data and information. This information and data are the keys to unlocking from the Matrix, and the individual will be able to articulate the coding of the Galactic Federation's information to the masses, essentially raising vibrations and channeling chakras. Indugut from Orion have treaties with Earth governments, and the Kili Tokat engage in abductions for food and sexual slave trade. Due to the Anunnaki of Nibiru, many GREYs share alien DNA with modern humans, and if you look closely at a person's skull, you can usually see if that shares similar features to GREYs, with large frame of skull or receding forehead. Hybrids possess alien genetic coding and alien soul matrix, while rebirths, another form of hybrid, lack a soul matrix and can have human or reptoid genetic coding. Genetic engineering, particularly by the Shekhar, results in varying degrees of divergence from human traits, with distinctions evident in the eyes, a hallmark of their races. The Chakar employ grey clones for experiments, including extreme human pain thresholds and soul extraction, often facilitated in North America. The other classified experiments in Area 51 include testing on humans to help the GREYS with procreation for hybrid species to live on the planet Essassani. In exchange, the nations get advanced technology. They have bases in Antarctica alongside many other extraterrestrial races. They are everywhere in society, either by using a cloaking technology or living underground in hollow earth. Notable encounters, like the Roswell incident of 1947 and the Betty and Barney Hill abduction in 1961, offer insights into their telepathic and telekinetic abilities and their affiliation with the Zeta Reticuli star system. Since this date, there have been countless UFO encounters that have been recorded and hidden from the public's knowledge, and thankfully, due to the Fair Information Act, records have now been declassified but not publicized or promoted to media. Either for the public's own good or more malicious reasons, it is certain that the GREYS' presence are here to stay. Here is a true story and encounter with the GREYS from Eleanor Darnan, an Egyptologist, author, and extraterrestrial channeler, where she recounts the most detailed extraterrestrial abduction by the Chakar GREYS, the saving of her life, and the hidden secrets of extraterrestrial life after going through hypnosis to recall this lost memory.
I was now 9 years old with my granny and my younger sister. We were admiring the starry sky by the bedroom window. The UFO changed colour and shot off, zigzagging at a tremendous speed. But it came back that night. 2 of them appeared in my bedroom that night in total silence, smoothly, cunningly, and they seized me. They took me by my arms. Their fingers hurt and bruised my flesh. I was unable to speak, shout, or move. I tried to fight them, but they were holding me strong, and then the whole room started spinning, and I realized they were taking me through a vortex of lights and colors. I was thrown onto a cold, hard floor. This new place was dark and freezing cold. I started crying, so they squeezed my forearm harder. It hurt so much. Sobs dried in my throat. I could see they were not like the ones who took me when I was a baby. These ones looked different, slightly taller, with a wider skull and these big almond-shaped obsidian eyes. They were glossy black suits like vinyl. They were cold, emotionless, and they dragged me onto a narrow medical table. I noticed glowing machines around it. They tied me by the ankles, forearms, and neck. Why were they doing to me? They removed my clothes fast and mechanically. There were low, screechy sound resembling a dentist drill approaching my head. The alien being behind me grabbed my chin to main my head still and straight, and with the drill, inserted something in my skull. Now, they were looking between my legs. I could not move, my nervous system paralyzed. They moved very fast, as if they were in a hurry. One of them put large straps around my wrists, and when tightened them, I could feel the sharp pain being caused to the flesh of my wrists. There were thin wires coming out of these straps, connecting to some devices on the side, and it seemed to me there was liquid passing through these tiny needles into my blood. It was a cold, freezing liquid, and my whole body shivered. They inserted something in my private parts with a long, metallic object. The metal was so cold, but the excruciating device was like a burning fire. I could see a light glowing under the skin of my belly. They acted very fast. Their moves were so weirdly mechanical. I was bleeding now, because I could feel the hot liquid pouring out of my womb. They had no consideration. I was just like a piece of meat. They think we have no soul, that we are so inferior to them. They spoke to each other, but it was not a language. It was more like sounds, crackling, creaking, insectoid sounds. They started to yell louder and with more agitation. Something was wrong. Another one appeared on the right. He was like them, but seemed slightly different. He was bigger and more expressive, as if he was a real person and the others some sort of robots or clones or organic machines. This big one seemed worried and angry. 2 of them left the room, and this big one started urging the 2 who stayed to hastily remove my ties. The straps left bleeding triangular marks on my wrists. They needed to be quick, and suddenly there was this big light and the whole structure trembled. I could not move, and it was terrifying. The walls, the ground, everything trembled again, and violent vibrations shook the entire ship. They were not happy with that at all. The bigger grey creature, who seemed to be their supervisor, shouted orders in his weird language, while sounds and lightnings behind the other side of the door were getting louder. Now, I could hear shouts of human voices. The 2 small greys were confused, and their chief seemed furious. He pulled from his shouting again, and the door brutally exploded. I was so scared. What was going on? I couldn't move. 2 tall men in spacesuits rushed in, wearing helmets. I couldn't see their faces because of the light's reflection and the smoke. A fight with some sort of laser guns engaged, and one of the men lifted the taller grey who seemed in charge. Then he strangled him to death. All the other ones were shot in the head. The same man who had strangled to death the captain of the grey beings lifted me from the table in his arms. My body was not responding.
Dude, it was
and I was
Space
feeling
Force.
cold. So cold. I could not see their faces due to reflections of the glass helmets. There were flashes of light again coming from the hole in the wall, left by the blast of the explosion. The men rushed with me through it, moving in a hurry. All I could see was the spacesuit of my rescuer and feel its cold plastic material. There was a buzzing, blinding blue light, and then we rushed into an airlock. It was very strange because I could see the stars around us, but we were inside some corridor. It seemed like we were suddenly in a different ship. They rushed into a room bathed with bright light and laid me down on a table that lifted from the floor. It was warm in here. I was feeling safe. There was a woman in that room. She didn't wear a spacesuit, and she was beautiful, with straight blonde hair and vibrant, huge green eyes. She wore a skin-tight blue suit, slightly glistening in the artificial light, and her body was slim and harmonious. She was looking at me with concern, and I could feel tension emanating from her. After they laid me on this bench, the men removed their helmets, but I still couldn't see their faces because they were out of my vision. Nonetheless, I had time to notice they were blonde like her, tall and athletic. The woman rapidly cleaned the blood of my tiny body. I let her proceed while releasing my fear, letting go of all tensions and stress. The man who saved my life removed his spacesuit's jacket and covered me with it. It felt so warm. He had wavy hair and the other one long and straight hair. I felt one of men's hands pressing my leg and saying few words in a strange language. I was now in good hands, I knew it. These people had rescued me. There was agitation in the room. The woman was feeling nervous, and the sense of emergency was filling the air stressfully. The gracious woman leaned over me gently, grabbed my face between her hands. She spoke to me in a strange and harmonious language which I couldn't understand, but it seemed I could feel it, that she tried to calm me down. The 2 men had stepped back and she laid her hands on my shoulders.
Denise Richards.
Her energy felt warm and soothing and poured inside of my tiny body like a delightful waterfall of calmness. This was my first contact with Myra, the mysterious and mesmerizing alien lady who had looked after me all my life besides Thor Han. Their expressions were concerned and grave, and I could see shadows of worry on the lady's pristine face. Her eyes were truly fascinating. They had this crystalline emerald spark. She was smaller than the 2 other men and had high, prominent cheekbones on a triangular face with a narrow chin. It seemed to me that she was from a different race than the 2 other ones.
I feel like I'm watching
as her
Heavy
face
Metal
structure was dissimilar to her
2.0.
companions. She obviously was of a smaller species. I would also learn later that I was right to think so. These 2 handsome men were from the Pleiades, And
All right.
she was from the
So we're
Sirius
gonna
B
cut this
system.
one short
All three of them.
because we want to stick to GREYS. We want to stick to the GREYS, not everybody and their mama aliens. Oh, here's a good one right here. This is the interrogation. Look at that head. Only a mother could hit a head that big. For you women who've had kids, you should be laughing at that one. This looks fake. I don't believe it.
Could you physically describe the gray?
A lot of body features are pretty different, but the eyes stick in your mind a lot.
Are they frontal eyes or located to the side, tear-shaped or almond-shaped?
So they are almond-shaped, pretty darkish. I don't think that there's a pupil. I never did any anatomy on something, so I didn't say, hey, come in, you know? But it's a grayish, whitish color of being. The skin is, it reminds me kind of the skin of dolphins. So it's actually a fiber body, which is not, it's not that fleshy maybe as the meat of a dolphin. And they also seem to have some kind of film over the bodies, which is transparent, which seems to be some kind of clothing, which might be just functional, because it appears to be naked. He or she, whatever,
They
appears
or
to be
them.
naked. Gray, being
Him
the
or
puppet,
her,
appears to
shim.
be naked.
How many digits on the hands and feet?
It's 4. 1 thumb and 3 fingers.
No nostrils or lips?
Oh, they are lips. They do have lips. They do not have a nose.
Ears?
No ears. No ears.
It's standing or sitting in front of you.
Standing. Yes, and I've never seen them sitting, actually.
How do they walk?
It's super smooth. It's totally neutral, like approaching that. No looking left, no looking right. It's just neutral. There's no pupils you can see that are, wandering. So you never know if it's looking at you, if it's looking somewhere else.
Like
Because it's an artificial
shades.
technology that you're interacting with a biological awareness.
Tell us about the actual interaction. Like, for example, how long did that last?
I think because the first meeting is all about experiencing the stress and
Oh,
the
he's an
feeling that
experiencer.
you have. It didn't take too long. Maybe, I imagine maybe like 15 minutes to half an hour or something. Just to, the body needs some time to get used to a frequency, just as when you get put into cold water and the body needs like 10 minutes to adjust to that. It's the same way that your body and your mind starts functioning quite normally after 10 to 15 minutes. Before that, it's just this flight or fight response where you want to just run out of the room or
A new you
scream
for a new you.
like you're totally in horror or something.
You may remember last week when scientists in Mexico revealed what they said were the corpses of aliens.
Yeah, the video of those little bodies sparked a lot of skepticism.
That looks like
as to
some
whether
mashed
the figures
potatoes,
were
dried
fake.
up mashed potatoes.
This morning, the Mexican scientists are releasing new video showing x-rays of the alleged alien remains. And they say they conducted 3 studies that all prove the bodies were not assembled and belong to a single skeleton. Doctors also say there are no signs of skull manipulation. The alleged alien corpses were found in Peru around 2017. So there, Leslie Lopez, they got proof.
Nah. No, you're going to have to open it up.
They've got x-rays.
What could it, No. No.
You're not a believer.
No, that looks like that does not look real.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more
Hey, how you
great
doing,
ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV.
No will. Mike, no will.
Good afternoon. A photo has surfaced that a lot of people are claiming is proof that the Roswell UFO incident was real. It's a picture of an alien-type creature, and they claim it was taken in 1947 in Roswell. Who better to check it out than our Roswell reporter, Cheyenne Cope. She hit the UFO museum to see what people there think. Cheyenne.
Well, Kim, the picture definitely has people talking at the UFO museum. It's one of the first things you hear when you mention Roswell.
I thought my room was
aliens. And people come from all over the country to see them.
I am a firm believer in aliens.
Well, this week, a never-before-seen picture was released that some people believe is more proof that a UFO did crash here back in 1947.
According to Kodak, yes, it is real. It hasn't been doctored. It hadn't been touched. It is from that time period, from the photographers that were in this area in 1947.
The photo was revealed at a conference in Mexico City on Tuesday. Someone claimed they found it in a box in an attic in Sedona, Arizona, along with pictures of Clark Gable, Bing Crosby, and Dwight Eisenhower. While a lot of people are calling it just another hoax, it's definitely fueling the debate again over what's known as the Roswell UFO incident. Mark Briscoe is the executive director of the UFO Museum. He says he can't say for sure if the slide is real, but that if it is, it could be a big deal.
I guess, okay, it'd be a game changer. I mean, either you're a believer or you're not, or you're a skeptic.
Quit playing
So
games.
what did people visiting the museum today think?
That horse is more real.
Skeptical.
Of course, it's a lot more fun to believe it could have been
These
aliens.
guys from Star Trek.
So no, I can't say I believe one way or the other, but I'm definitely open-minded about it.
I think it would be
think you're too open-minded.
really silly not to believe that there's something out there other than us.
Now, the museum director did also tell us that the slide will be down here in Roswell for the UFO Festival in July. Kim, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Cheyenne. Now, aliens and UFOs are, of course, big business in Roswell. About 175,000 people visit the UFO museum every year.
Oh, next it was about child abuse. I feel like I've been abused. I feel like my mind and my eyes were abused right now. Well, there you have it, guys and gals. What do you believe? Leave your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show, The Manwich Show. And with that said, good night. And Lord willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Whoa. Tomorrow.